Hi there, it's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. I am doing your tarot reading for the week of August 27th or 26th, depending on when you think a week starts. I actually kind of think it starts on a Sunday, but whatever. I am going to start with the sign of Taurus. Okay. Okay, this Five of Swords had just come out for Sagittarius. So the Five of Swords is conflict, drawing a line in the sand, an impasse. But it's interesting, in this card, I do feel like someone has your back. So if this type of situation is happening, you're not alone in it. Again, there's another person that totally sees things your way and will have your back, which is nice. You can see they're sort of both holding hands together with this sword here. Yeah, they're a couple. They've defeated successfully defeated or fended off a couple other people are already. So we'll just keep that in mind. As what else? Oh, okay, we have, so definitely this could be a legal situation. They side with you. The line you drew in the sand, or whatever you may have put your foot down about, the justice system agrees with you. It's interesting, and here these people almost have a more like spiritual, I don't know if I'm making that up. It is a pagan deck, so it could be like the law and spirituality are all sort of wrapped into one. It's almost like, too, she's being sworn in. So I don't know if any of you have taken the bar, or you are, this week, you're somehow being initiated into, maybe I see, it's that time of year where everyone's going back to school, or you've graduated or received some sort of certificate or something where there's like, doesn't have to be anything fancy, but you get like a formal certificate. There's a ceremony, a swearing in, a baptism, something like that. Could be getting, you could be getting married, because it's interesting in this, to me, even though that's not how I read this card normally, Two Pentacles, it almost looks like those are like bridesmaids in the background when I just looked at it quickly. So maybe doing some legal paperwork to get married. People say they want to hear more about love, so that's why I'm kind of focusing on that. But it could be a divorce. It could be, and this would be for very few people, but like calling off a wedding or an engagement, like, because she's kind of like, I'm looking and she's just like, I can't do it. Like, look at her face. She's like looking at this. She's like, I can't go through with this wedding. Because we have this Eight of Cups, which is walking away. It says like, you just know it's not going to work, and you're just walking away from it. So she's, yeah, she's like, nope, I can't stay here. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. So some of you may be leaving, something you had, like a church, it's just coming up. But like something where you were going to have some sort of commitment. Like you're like, no, I realize that's not going to work for me, and you need to step away, and that takes a tremendous amount of strength to do that. So, but it's better to know that now and get out of it than to just go through with something because it's embarrassing or you don't want to disappoint other people, because you're the one that's going to have to live with your decision. But again, there is someone that has your back, which is always nice to have validation. Like someone's like, yeah, you can't, don't do that. Like I'm here for you. I'm with you. I get it. You need to live your life, and there's something that you can't continue with this relationship. Like, stop trying to talk yourself into it. It's just not going to work, and that's okay. And I feel like it's like too much work. Like, yes, relationships are work, but there's a difference between let's actively work because we're both totally into and on board with this relationship to it being just high maintenance and stressful and filled with drama for no reason. I see a bridezilla. I see someone more obsessed with the wedding. And this could be man or woman with or the like commitment, like almost like possession. Like wanting to get things down in writing. That's giving me a weird feeling. So for any of you deciding to move on, it just like there might be just something. It's time to move on. It doesn't have to be something huge, but there is sort of karma, real justice, there's data to back up your decision or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like this, you're not making this up. There's something real and tangible going on for this change or decision, I guess I want to say. Okay, so let's move on to Virgo. Virgo. Fool. I love the Fool card. The Hermit. And Temperance. Wow. Okay, so 3 major arcana cards. And the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. So right off, I feel like you want to enter something with complete, you just want to dive in head first and just go for it. And put yourself out there and get out there. But at the same time, you're like, oh, but if I do that, I'm going to have to give up all these other things. And like you're really trying to figure out how to balance everything out because you have such a strong desire to move on to something new. So you're really going within to try to figure this out. Now, I think everyone says they want love readings, but this Ace of Pentacles really is like a job opportunity that I feel like you may be struggling with, or you want to move house, you want to buy a house, you want to move somewhere, but you're being given this opportunity, and this opportunity is going to change your day-to-day living. So, for example, if you get a new job, it's going to change maybe the city you go to, your commute. Maybe you'll want to move because you want to be closer, or maybe there's public transit to this one and the other one you had to drive, or vice versa. Maybe, oh gosh, this always happens. Like they're changing all the I have great parking. I have no idea. Within a week of me starting the job I've been at now for 8 years, the place, or at least a place of business, I got like prime parking. But some people have been there for like twice as long as I do and don't have it. And now for the hospital side, they are changing all the parking lots. People may have to drive into the downtown of the city, like have to go by where they work. I mean, it's going to add, oh my God, it's going to add at least a half hour to an hour to people's commutes if they have to do. So, it's just like, it could be something like that, mundane things like that. But this opportunity, it's one part of you wants to just jump into it with complete like you just like, I'm just going to go for it. And then the other part is like really going within and being like, is this really, right for me? This could almost be a little bit of analysis paralysis happening. And like the Temperance card is just like, okay, like, oh, look at the big pentacle here. So here's that big pentacle. Like, okay, let's just calm down. Let's just not get too crazy either direction and figure out what we're going to do. Let's be super practical about it. And I'm reading for Virgo, so you guys are super practical, but I think you may be like making a lot of like I can see like, let's make a pro and con list and let's try to figure this out. So I think you may be over analyzing it a little bit. It doesn't mean you shouldn't really consider it and think about it, but and this could be even the same for a relationship. Like I feel like you're a little bit like you're being given a really good opportunity, and you're just a little bit afraid of change. And you kind of have like the devil and the angel on each shoulder, and one's like, just do it, it's gonna be awesome, and the other one's like, oh, be fearful, and you're just trying to be like, okay, I just want to really practically look at the actual real issues I need to figure out to be able to make my decision. But it's a significant decision, so definitely follow the Temperance card and find that in between line of just withdrawing and not making a decision at all, which is making a decision, versus just absolutely going for it. But it's interesting that something is making you want to just dive in head first and just take it on. So, I mean, that's significant, because I think two of my very best friends, one of whom I just saw yesterday, are Virgos. And so I truly appreciate your energy and how thoughtful you are about things and practical you are about things. So for something to be making you want to be the fool and just jump in and take that leap of faith, it's pretty significant. So do your research, do your homework, but also listen to your heart as well. That is like, yes, I want this. This opportunity is really something that I want to consider. It may involve you moving somewhere where it snows. May have something to do with the outdoors. I don't know, that just came up. I don't know what that would be. Maybe for some of you, there's an opportunity for a vacation home. That's kind of random. But I feel like for some of you, it might be like going to school, like you found what you want. Like I see this pentacle as like, you know how people hang their diplomas and stuff up in their offices. So maybe you're like, you want to start a new degree program, or you're like, oh, I figured out what I want to do. I want to become an herbalist, organic gardener, whatever. And you're like, I want to change careers and I want to take classes to educate, because I really see this as studying really hard. So something is inspiring you to make a significant change, and you're just like, okay, I want to make this change, but I don't want everything to change. Like, that seems like almost too much for me. So again, I know everyone wants love readings, and that just really wasn't a love scenario per se. Except for that, you may have met someone and you may just want to just you're just head over heels instantly. You want to just jump into this relationship. But your practical side is saying, whoa, wait a minute. They live in a different city. They have a job and they're moving, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Because I really thought this is a really, we're like super into each other, but not quite at that point where you would necessarily move for someone. And so you're struggling with something like that, like how, like, you're just like, I just want to move. But then you're like, can I do that? Can I really just move? Like, change my whole life and get a new job? But there could be an opportunity in here. Like, maybe you haven't been super happy where you are anyway. And if you can change your thinking and look at it like that, you're like, hey, this is an opportunity. Maybe this is my opportunity. I can sort of start fresh with this move, and it wouldn't feel so like I'm disrupting my whole life for seemingly no reason. Okay, let's move on to Capricorn. Hey there, Capricorn. How are you? I'll be back in 1 second. I gotta let my son know that I am recording. Hey, Jacob. I'm recording, okay, bud? I'm recording a reading. I'm recording a reading. Sorry about that. Let me change the timestamp. Okay, Capricorn. The Hermit has been coming out a lot. It has. Okay. So 2 9s. 9 of Wands and the Hermit. And the 4 of Wands. Okay. So, okay, this is really weird, but for some of you, I feel like you're going to go on a honeymoon, and like maybe you're like driving somewhere. Like, I almost see you going to like the Canadian Rockies or the mountains wherever you live or something like that. You guys have decided to drive and your car is going to break down. Just saying, because for some of you, your car may break down. So make sure you have your cell phone charged and stuff like that with you. But I do see protection around you, so it's not going to be, it's going to be like an inconvenience type of thing. So, I mean, if you are like on a honeymoon, which is going to be, probably one, if any, try to just enjoy your time together and see it as like an adventure. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it'll be, so for some of you, I can see it being like it does look like the same people. You have the 4 of Wands, which is a marriage card. Kind of does, doesn't it look like in here, like you got married and then this is you guys out on your honeymoon or going somewhere together. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Some of you could just be buying a car because your car dies. And it's like, you really like, okay, because she has money here. You're just like, all right, I can't deal with this POS anymore. I need to just get a reliable car. And it's just like, you just have to just deal with it. So you have the Knight of Cups. So there is definitely a romantic theme this weekend. So some of you, or this week, getting engaged, being asked to move in, to go away on a trip. Maybe you're just going away for the weekend with someone you've been dating, and this is like the first time they're asking you on a trip, or you're going on a family vacation, or you're planning one. Maybe I see like some of you have been working really hard. Maybe you've been working late at the office or staying up late. Maybe you've been studying a lot, or you're just about to go back to school, and this is like a last hurrah before you really have to buckle down. So yeah, like you guys, I feel like some of you have been really working really hard. Maybe you haven't spent much time with your significant other, or you haven't been able to even go out to meet someone because you've been spending so much time working on something. So this can just be like, hey, work-life balance, just make sure you take time to, if you are in a relationship, be with that person, spend time with that person. And if you're not, don't forget to put yourself out there. Years can go by if we get into a routine just hold up by ourselves, because that's what the hermit is like doing. Maybe you're studying astrology or learning tarot cards or really diving into your spirituality. It can, in some ways, it can become very comfortable, meditating and going within and learning how to be mindful and peaceful, and going out and putting yourself out there, and dating can really upset the apple cart and bring in stress, and it's much harder to maintain that, right? But we have to learn to apply those tools to navigating everyday life, not just shutting. Sometimes I think, someone who's in some sort of, I don't know, I don't mean to pick on it, like a monastery. Okay, they're so spiritual, they just sit around and meditate all the time. I know that's not what happens, but I'm trying to make a simple, dumb point. Sure, if they're literally just sitting in the mountains by themselves, or where everyone's there just to work on themselves and go within, it might be pretty easy to maintain, feeling balance and stuff. But the minute you have to start dealing with people and going into the outside world, it does get hard. And so the goal is to try to apply those types of things as you live in, sort of the quote unquote real world. So accept offers to if you feel safe, obviously know the person, to go away with someone, go on a trip. There could be delays or something that happens along the way, but you're there to enjoy each other together. So just try to keep that in mind. I do see if anyone's meeting someone, like this person, someone does ask you out or you ask someone out, like this could be a really stable long-term relationship. Or your relationship this week could be being taken to a new level. Like, hey, let's call each other boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever is appropriate for you. Let's move in together. Let's get married. Let's buy a house together, whatever. Let's start being more of a couple, or taking the relationship to a next level, whatever that would be for you. And getting yourself out of, like, I definitely see some of you going from being single maybe for quite some time to being with someone and dating and getting out there, which could be a little bit of an adjustment, but I think it's this is a very positive, good card. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Have a great week. Bye.